We should have like a segment called The Worst Thing You've Seen Today. Because that's what I do every day. I mean, that's just a stream, to be honest. This is a new Jubilee video. Hot off the press. Fresh off the press. Just dropped. Titled, Are All Cops Bastards? Police versus Criminals. Middle ground. You guys ready to buckle in? Oh boy.
Just because you're a cop, why should you have the right to tote a gun around just because you have a badge?
And you're saying we shouldn't be armed?
You shouldn't have guns at all.
Okay.
True! There is only one reason ever for a professional to show up at a location with a firearm, and that is an active shooter. Okay? That's it. That is the only instance when there is like someone who is actively trying to harm other people. Then you are allowed to bring a firearm. Why the fuck do cops need guns for traffic stops? Why the fuck do cops need guns for mental health crises? Why? Why? Literally, why? Why is it that a cop can stop you and be like, hey, you look like you might be had a joint on you? What are you talking about? I'm coming from work. Are you resisting arrest? Are you resisting? Are you resist? And it's like, whoa, dude, whoa, 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 whoa. I haven't done anything. That's not what based means. Lol. Bro, you're literally a lol user. You're not allowed to talk, man. I don't know what to tell you, okay? You've been around on Twitch since 2013. There are better emotes to use, my friend, okay? There are better emotes.
Okay, next time there's an active shooter going into a university, then we're just gonna let him shoot all the students.
You know what? I can't do this.
Isn't that what you guys literally did in Uvalde? That's literally what you did. That's literally what you guys did.
This episode, my wife.
Music kind of going crazy.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Cops.
Also, can we all agree that cops, it should be cops and like civilians or whatever? I don't know.
Should not carry guns.
I mean, there are so many countries in this world that do not have this level of violence within its law enforcement department or any other department. Guns themselves are not the issue. It's the finger behind the gun, because you don't know the mentality, the mind, you know.
I mean, I do think that guns are the issue, but I also agree that, like, generally speaking, cops are the worst type of person to put in front of a, or like, well, whoa, Twitch is gonna ban me. Cops are the worst people to put guns in their hands. Okay? I mean, dude, just whatever you do, chat, don't look up cops and 40% Pepe law. Okay?
The heart of the person, and people, things trigger people and they snap. And no one exempt. Police officers are human beings too. They can snap.
If you took guns away from the uniform, I guarantee you, like, half of them would not be there working.
No,
you know?
it's the power.
If you had to struggle to submit a perpetrator and to, like, actually do work, police work, like, it's not just about reaching for your gun 99% of the time. Yeah. So it's like if the gun wasn't part of the uniform, a lot of them wouldn't take that enabling role that they want to take as officers, you know? Right
in front of my building, I was harmed by an older man. When I got away, I went to the police. The detective took me to the hospital, everything, checked me out. You know what the police officer did with having a gun and everything else? Pulled me over, saying he was taking me back home, pulled me over on a dark side of a street and raped me. Because of the uniform, the badge, and the gun.
This is actually a very big problem, actually. It has only been very recently that states have made it illegal, which is crazy that it wasn't illegal before, but they've made it illegal to sexually assault women in their police cars. It is a huge problem currently, and obviously men as well. I'm not saying that men do not get sexually assaulted, of course not. But generally speaking, the majority of the sexual assault that is done to civilians by cops is women. They will arrest women and they're so tripped up on power that they know they're going to get away with it. And there's only been recently in some states legislation that makes it like not just a crime, but also you will lose all of your privileges. Like you will lose your power, all of it. Not all states even have it illegal. It's really disgusting. It's really sad. AXA, THIC. Thank you for the tier 2 sub. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Wow. Thank you for the tier 1. Thank you. Or Prime, I think. Sorry about that. Thank you. I'm British. Our cops are still cunts, but if they had guns, oh my God, it would be terrifying. Yep.
That made me freeze, but you as a police officer, saying that you were here to protect and to serve, you allowed your power, your uniform, you got everything else to make you think that that was okay. And this happens a lot. It happens a lot.
They want to abuse other people. They want to, tyrants over other people. So they choose jobs like that. Like, what if you want to help other people? Why can't you go be a humanitarian? There's oceans to clean up. Instead, like everybody just wants to be out here taking rights away from others and abusing people and getting guns. And the moment you start copying an attitude, literally click. Let's go.
But I don't want to do that to them as they do it to us.
Can the disagreeer step forward?
If someone else has a gun, you gotta defend yourself too. Just the way you use it. I'm not saying that you should use guns, but I mean, if you have a gun, then you have to use it, of course, but not use it just for traffic stops or people with mental illnesses, stuff like that. That's out. If they have a knife or a stick or a fork, like that doesn't justify anybody getting shot.
So you're for having armed police officers?
Yeah, if someone else has a gun,
Yeah.
if someone else.
I believe that y'all should be armed because I believe in the Constitution. I don't believe in the policing that the police force has done throughout many communities I've been in, but I do believe in rights versus laws, and I do believe that there are dangerous scenes that you go to where it is required to use them. So I have to agree that part of your, like he said, his tool belt needs to include a pistol.
Okay, good, because I was about to challenge you both and say, okay, so you mean to tell me that what happened at Michigan State University with an active shooter killing 5 students, or Ubaldi, where they went into an elementary.
You don't want to use that example where literally a parent was braver than the fucking cops with guns. That is the worst example to use as example for why cops should have guns. Are you kidding me?
School and killed children.
The Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook, what happened over 10 years ago. You're sitting there telling us that we shouldn't be carrying firearms?
Yeah, you shouldn't. Like, if you guys are just traffic cops and stuff like that, you guys shouldn't.
No,
if you guys are like a SWAT team.
Yeah, you're not answering my question.
Like I said, I'm just going based on what you said. You called me a predator. I'm like, I never done that in my life, right?
My God, look, this is such cop behavior. Look at how defensive all of them are. Look at how literally they're so defensive. I literally have never done that. Like, and honestly, like, the way that you're attacking me right now wants me, I kind of want to take out my gun right now. Can I put him in handcuffs? Can I put him in handcuffs? No, I'm going to put you in handcuffs. Like, dude, you're literally proving everything that is wrong about the cop brain right now.
Been in situations where I've been shot at. I had 2 members of my department die in the last 2 months. I've been in situations where I've needed my firearm. I've needed every tool in my belt in my career. You would go out and then see half of the stuff I see. You may change your perception about what you see. It's dangerous.
So you can't call for backup?
What does me calling for backup have to do with
So
using my-
if you work county, okay, say in my area.
Which I'm a county cop.
Right, and in my area, I mean, you have miles and miles of nothing around you. Your closest partner is maybe if you're lucky, 20 minutes away. Okay. In the meantime, I've got somebody that has me at gunpoint, and if I don't have a gun on my hip, I'm dead. I am a
Don't say good, chat. Stop. Stop. So, quick question. How does you having a gun on your hip help you when you are being held at gunpoint? You think the person holding you at gunpoint is going to let you draw your weapon? What are you, Wonder Woman? Yeah, it's the cop passive. They can insta-draw. Like, what is this? Hello?
dead man walking because I have nothing that can go up against another gun.
But how do you think felons feel?
There's tasers, pepper balls, like...
Societal issues are not on the police. Like, I'm not stripping you of your rights, right? That is not, you can vote. I don't give a shit. You can vote. You can carry a gun. You can do all that. That is not my job in life. My job is, you've been accused of a crime. I got to take you to jail because that, this, and that, and the third. I'm done.
You're saying that we should have pepper spray, tasers to Michigan State University or Uvalde? Is that what you're saying? So you
in active shooter situations like Uvalde, like Michigan State University, they don't just grab cops. They literally call out more than just cops. What did they call? What form of security did they call for Uvalde? Let's see if we can find it. Also, they need to stop listing Uvalde as like an example. They really do. Look. They like the SWAT team. It's not necessarily, I don't think it's called SWAT team, but here. Ramos drove to school, he fired shots, blah, 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 blah. And this is just talking about the shooter, what the shooter was doing. He remained in the school for more than an hour while the cops were doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. They were standing out with their fucking dicks in their hand before members of the United States Border Patrol Tactical Unit fatally shot him. They just sat there and waited until fucking United States Border Patrol came. They didn't even use their fucking guns. Like, that's what happens. In active shooter situations, usually they call SWAT teams, or they call, like, Border Patrol, or they call other types of tactical units that do carry firearms. That's what happens. That's what fucking happens when you're in these situations. Like, there is no reason for a normal, everyday, average cop to have a gun. It's just
telling me that if I'm a cop, I have no gun.
But also, this,
well, he said to the community, like maybe
no, that's not what he said.
The
prompt is, should cops be unarmed? Hold on a second. You just got done watching probably the most tragic incidents in the, probably historically, Uvalde, may I add. That's kids, for crying out loud. And what you're sitting here saying is that we shouldn't be unarmed.
The video is literally fact-checking him in real time. It's literally fact-checking him in real time. Oh my God, no. Uvalde shooting. Police waited for over an hour outside of classrooms before a team made entry. There were enough police on the scene to have stopped the gunman 3 minutes after he entered the building. Texas Public Safety Chief has testified.
What is it would you like me to do if someone has an AK-47 killing kids? That's my question to you.
We actually have our own rights, you know, that we actually have our own rights to carry and defend ourselves in certain situations like that.
You know,
but
with
the
all
full
due
story-
respect, that's not the question I'm asking.
if you want to use Uvalde,
I'm asking you if you were, okay, I'll ask in a different way. If you're a police officer and you have no firearms, you got your pepper spray, you have your taser, you have your baton, and you are responding to Uvalde, elementary school where there's an active shooter with an AK-47, what are you going to do?
I would say that I would call for backup to the proper authorities that would be entitled to have those weapons that are not in the general community.
I get what he's saying.
No, but what?
God, I wish. So this is why right wingers are so good at what they do. It's because they just make appeals to intuition over and over and over again. They don't actually back up anything with like facts and claims and anything. They just kind of say like, well, doesn't this make sense? See, it makes so much sense. When in reality, if you actually looked into any of these cases, a lot, if not most of the active shooter situations, they end up calling actual professionals that didn't just take like 3 months of like training. They take people who actually know how to use firearms responsibly, that have trigger discipline, that know how to handle situations like that, like teams of people that are made for active shooting situations. They don't call fucking cops. That's why the cops, like the fucking losers they are, fucking sat outside and did absolutely nothing for an hour while 20 kids got killed. But you have to know this ahead of time. You have to know ahead of time that in this specific shooting situation, that didn't happen.
Entitled to have weapons? Who? What agency?
So like
SWAT
the UK,
and above,
yeah, what he's saying. It's like the United Kingdom.
That's
How United Kingdom, their special force in their police department have weapons, but they're regular.
So why should you just be? Why should you have the ability to just tote around a gun? That's my question to you.
What's that?
My question to you is, just because you're a cop, why should you have the right to tote a gun around just because you have a badge?
No. That's not what the prompt is. The prompt is cops being unarmed, cops being all of us.
Yeah, but you use your body, and your
patrol,
body, they took like over an hour to respond when they were there. So you had the guns and you still didn't.
What I'm saying is that he's saying cops. Cops is a very, when you say cops to me, you're talking everybody. Every single cop, okay? And you're saying we shouldn't be unarmed. Okay.
Sorry, I was muted for a second.
Okay, so you know what? Next time there's a big active shooter going into a university, then I guess we're just gonna let him shoot all the students.
So I have a question for you.
But that's literally what you guys let happen.
So all those countries that don't have their police officers carrying guns?
Not many, just so you know.
Oh, I know very well. That's the work that I do.
Okay.
So.
She kind of ate him up a little. Wait, she kind of like a meal.
Even been there to see that. But what I'm saying is that, have you ever thought about how those countries respond to those situations? And can we do the same?
We absolutely could not do the same because we have criminals here, and I'm not speaking of y'all, but
the audacity to talk about criminals while you're literally talking to ex-convicts, the disrespect is crazy. It's actually crazy.
there are people here that still carry regardless of if it's against the law. If you were to take guns away from illegals, criminals, people that are
What the fuck did my cat just do? I'm just... Did you really just say illegals?
You are all illegals.
At that point, just call me a slur, man. Like, illegals? The only illegal thing here is the way that you look. Fucking budget amaranth over here. Mom, can we get amaranth? We have amaranth at home. Amaranth at home.
are not from here. I would 100% agree that officers don't need guns and that we could go do
Because
what?
I think the mass shooters are not the ones, the immigrants, and the taking it all
No,
away.
but, and that's what, I'm just giving examples.
Yeah, but
I'm just
so
giving
the
examples.
She's right. I mean, it's
Yeah,
so the mass shooting
it's a
and all
Second
that
Amendment
is...
issue.
A constitutional right to bear arms, right, allows
It's a right.
everybody in this country to bear arms. Well, not
Which is
everybody,
rare.
not everybody. Let me be specific. If you're a law-abiding citizen to carry guns, the amount of guns that we have in America, doesn't it outweigh the people that we have? Hey, these countries, they don't have a Second Amendment. They don't have a constitutional right to bear arms. So it's
There are 120 guns for every 100 Americans. The United States is the only nation in the world where civilian guns outnumber people. I think my cat is like falling or something. 1 second.
A lot easier to say, you know what? Y'all can't bear arms, so y'all can't bear arms. In this country, we can. So I'm just being, like I said, everything is anecdotal. I've been in situations where I needed my gun, and you were absolutely right. Would I do the job without one? Hell no, because I've been in situations where I needed one, and you know what? I had it. It's equal force. I'm being shot at, I'm about to shoot back. Not just, hey, I have a gun on my hip, I'm just about to, you know what, guns. That's not how I do my job.
And the thing that popped right from that prompt is just active shooter, active shooter, active shooter. That's.
And it's not even it's not even active shooter.
You know
it's
what?
just being shot at by itself.
I haven't done the research, or I don't know if there's any empirical data to know exactly in other countries how they respond to someone who has an AK-47 that goes into a building and starts killing people, and yet we're a police force that doesn't have any firearms. I don't know. I would have to do the research.
They do have special units for it. They're just not out on the street where you see them all the time, 24/7. Okay. But you said something, and I want to bring that up. Hold on, what's that? You said something. You said that the people with the guns are oftentimes criminals or, you know, people like that. And I want to say that those mass shootings that happen in our country are from people that pass a whole tons of background checks and are law-abiding, to your point, and all these things, and all of a sudden, and that was my point earlier about when people snap or whatever might happen, and we have to be clear in identifying that, because we get labeled like we're the ones doing all these mass shootings, all these things, these horrible, egregious things, and 96% of the time, it is not a person that was formerly incarcerated.
And to your point, we get
so
labeled.
So let's be clear on that point.
Right, and then we get labeled as killers.
Right.
I think I've heard.
The victim complex is crazy, though. The victim complex is insane. But sometimes we kill unarmed black civilians and then we get away with it, and then people call us killers. And it makes us really sad.
Agents of racial genocide is what we've been labeled before. You know, and all this, and again, my point was just, I'm talking about one specific type of, you know, incident where, you know,
but we have to pay attention to that,
would agree.
Though.
I think everybody would agree.
We all
like
have
to
pay attention to that, though, and be clear and be very honest with that, and identify it, and not try to like, oh, well, it sounds good, and it's and let's get some news on this, and let's just like label them and put everything on them, because that's how we feel, because that is actually what's happening. And then when we know the truth and the facts, and it comes out, it's like that person was never been incarcerated, never had a record, never anything, and do the worst harm to our society, our communities, because believe it or not, the vast majority of us on this side of the fence want safety just as much as you do.
Police violence is blown out of proportion.
I think that really depends on where you're at, whether it's city, town. I think
the fact that the police kill the number of unarmed people that they do every year means that it is not blown out of proportion. The acceptable number of people that should die that are completely unarmed, no weapon, no knife, no gun, and they are still killed, it should be 0. Because I understand, if you're charging at a police officer with a knife and they shoot you, I get it. You were trying to attack them. They are then defending themselves. But there are instances of people sitting in their car, sleeping in their car, and the police show up and just fucking kill them. That number should be 0. It should be 0. No one that is unarmed, that like, the fact that any right-wingers took any position on the George Floyd situation that wasn't, this is unacceptable, is insane. I don't give a fuck what George Floyd did. I don't even care if he was the worst person on the planet. Guess what? He is still owed due process. And I don't want to live in a society where cops get to be jury, judge, and executioner. He could have like skinned puppies in his free time. Put him in jail. Have him deal with a jury. And let the legal system do its job. I don't give a fuck what this guy is doing. Let him rot in prison or whatever, or let him get his due process or whatever. I don't want a system where cops can just decide who they want to fucking kill in our society. I don't know. It's my opinion, man.
I think it really depends on the department, because you have a lot of departments that you see a lot of that stuff, but then you have like the smaller departments that you don't see none of that. And you have community policing. You know, we go out and we do activities with the kids. We do activities with families. Yes, we still do our job. We still pull people over, but we're not, I guess, what you would call harassing people in some of the ways that the big cities do.
But I mean, you technically are though. Like, I mean, justifying your bad behavior and your violence for you guys doing community work, it just doesn't go hand in hand, you know?
I understand people's sentiment where one incident where it looks extremely bad is wrong, and then it casts an entire umbrella over the entire profession. I may have a different perspective or different perception of what you're looking at than you do because I'm in this profession, but the way that I guess that we look at things now in the media, it's blown completely out of proportion.
So when we see the videos of a police officer handling a child, and that cop has become violent towards a child.
And I agree, but my thing is, has it been blown out of proportion? I see that one incident.
We see it a lot.
You do see it a lot, but you have to also take in consideration that there's over 1,800 agencies in the entire United States. So if you look at the big grand scheme of things as it relates to all these agencies, and you do see violence, you do see where it's scrutinized, where it's brutal. But if you take the numbers, it's very, very.
165 unarmed people have died since the beginning of this year. 2 cops. Please go tell their families that it was a very minimal number of deaths. Go tell those people's wives, their kids, their friends, their sisters, their moms and dads. It was a minimal death. And then tell me what they say in response. Tell me what they say in response to that. Yeah, we might have killed your entire family or whatever, but like in the grand scheme of things, your son wasn't really that important, and there's a lot of cops. So
very minimal.
If you look at all the public contacts with all agencies nationwide compared to these bad incidents or the perception of bad incidents, it's a very micro compared to the macro of how many public contacts all the agencies have with the public.
Those are the ones that you do see. I mean, even before social media,
it was brought up earlier about the media blowing it up, and we agree to that.
There was, Rodney King, there was Emmett Till, there was all these people,
and honestly, there's bad officers. And good officers will be the first ones to tell you there are bad officers. There's bad in every workforce that you're in. Everything. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's wrong, it's wrong. We are the first ones to kind of, hey, that's too far.
And I used to work in internal affairs, and I personally arrested 2 prior.
So what happens when the good cops allegedly protect the bad cops, which is what happens literally every single fucking time. Every single fucking time there is an instance of someone killing an unarmed person, usually an unarmed person of color. Their supervisor or their chief advisor or whatever, they fucking jump through hoops to make sure that their officer doesn't get fired. What the fuck is up with that? What is your defense for that? If you kill someone who is unarmed, you should go to jail immediately. That's just murder. That's just premeditated murder. What about all the instances of the good cops that tell bad cops to turn their cameras off? Fuck off, dude. Like, literally fuck off. I'm sure that there are some people that are delusional. I'm sure that there are maybe a total of like 5 cops that are delusional and they think they can change the system from the inside. And chances are what'll happen to those 5 cops that are currently active right now is they're going to quit when they realize that they can't change it, or they're going to become shitty enabler cops. That's what's going to happen.
Police officers.
I also worked internal affairs, and I can tell you out of 30 plus of these tribunal hearings, a lot have been terminated. So there is some accountability. I think we're heading in the right direction, considering 20-something years ago, you know, you did something bad and, you know, it got swept. Now, social media obviously has magnified it by hundreds and hundreds, which is good.
Well, what social media has done is just allowed everyone to see what's happening in the moment. Right? Before, we got it weeks later, months later, years later, so no one knew what was going on. But now we have the ability to film it in the moment and say, hey, look at this, and this is what's being captured. And violence that's perpetrated against people, who, whether they're doing something wrong or not, is so, I mean, it's to the point where it's not even harmful anymore. It's tragic. Why? Because we're all human beings. And there's a culture of violence that perpetuates within the department itself. And I've had good cops reach out to me and said, they're not listening. And if they know I'm saying anything, I'm gone or I'm gonna be hurt.
Police violence is completely blown out of proportion, in a sense that it's completely biased.
I like how he doesn't even fucking respond to any of her criticisms. Okay.
Isn't nonviolence or me saving someone's life not blown out of proportion?
Can the disagreeer step forward?
You literally have entire TV shows dedicated to making cops look good. What do you think SVU is? What do you think The Wire is? You literally have fucking entire propaganda 10-season shows made to make cops look good and to prove like they're such heroes. Well,
I don't believe it's blown out of proportion because I believe it's just barely getting the exposure that it needs.
It is what it is. That's what it is. Each time I've encountered the cops, it's just been like the most negative experience of my life. Like, I'm addicted to the news. And every time I turn on the news, it's another cop killing. Like you said, maybe they don't report what's good out there, but they do report the bad. And I watch it every day.
To be clear, chat, as someone who watched The Wire is like a 9 out of 10 show. It's really entertaining. It is still propaganda. The Wire is a very, very, very good show, but it is still propaganda. It still proves, yeah, some cops suck, but there are some good, earnest, hardworking cops that will prevail. Saying, no, it's not, because there are bad cops in there. No, the show is trying to prove that good cops will try their best and they will succeed in improving the system. Like, it pushes the narrative of the good cop, bad cop narrative. But that's not how it is in the real world. How it is in the real world is cops are a gang. They are just like a state-endorsed mafia. And the good cops are afraid to actually speak out and do anything. Otherwise, they will get suicide by bullet to the back of the head. 2, to be specific. And that's a show I like, okay? Like, that is a show that I actually like.
Life, like, I see how the cops treat people.
If I may ask you, if you did see the good, would that give you a different perception about the police?
It's not that I don't see the good, it's that it just doesn't, I haven't seen it happen, I haven't experienced it, I haven't heard nobody in my community like have anything good.
So I've seen the good when I was 16 years old. I'm in my 40s. I actually had a police officer who was my hero. Every contact since in multiple states, multiple divisions, has violated me, stolen from me, taken from me, and stripped me of every value I ever had. The way y'all talk to me, the approach, I'm so respectful. 18,000, that's what you said? Divisions?
No, 1,800.
1,800? How many prisons are there? And how many inmates? And then we're disarmed when we come home. We can't vote, so I can't compete with you on my laws. I can't carry a gun. I can't defend myself. I can't even carry a knife. The exposure is barely there. We need more exposure. I'm from the LA County area, from the islands of Hawaii.
There is no reason felons shouldn't be able to vote. You know who shouldn't be able to vote in our fucking country? Billionaires. I think once you amass $100 million, you should no longer be allowed to lobby and you should no longer be allowed to vote. I don't see why felons, people who have to live in our country, citizens in our country, aren't allowed to vote on policies for our country. Oh, you got pulled over for an ounce of weed on you? Goodbye to all of your voting rights. Complete disgusting joke.
Way originally, every police in between them seas to the East Coast has always spoken with disrespect. They don't pull us over on a speeding ticket like, hi, how's your day? How you doing? Do you got any emergencies going on?
Yeah, they come with their guns.
When's the last time you was arrested?
Who, me?
No, I'm just saying that's the approach when you come to the car window, right? Is on guard.
I don't talk like that. So I hear where you're coming from.
God, I hate these people. I hate the cops that instead of like empathizing and being like, yeah, there are a lot of cops that do that and that fucking sucks and we need reform for that. Instead, they're like, well, I'm a good guy, you know, like not all men, okay? Not all cops are like that, okay? I'm a good one. I'm one of the good ones, okay? And I'll have you know, I would never treat you like that. I could treat you so much better, okay? I could treat you great. Shut the fuck up. No one is talking about you.
But I don't talk like that. So some people do that. You talk for them, but you said us. You just pointed at us and said us.
The department. All departments. All
I don't know which
I don't
department
know
they work for, but I work for a department, and I've never seen these people in my life. I've never seen you in my life. I've never encountered you in my life, but I wouldn't come at you like that.
So you don't cuss at people when you walk up to them?
Oh, absolutely.
When I walk up to them, no. Now, if they're cussing at me, I might cuss back. Absolutely. I'm going to allow you to dictate how you're going to allow just this interaction to go.
What if I speak to you with respect and you go back there and you pull my license and it says parole date 2036?
You're still going to get treated with
Walk up
respect.
to you.
I've never.
You're only saying that now because you're not in uniform. The cop brain, when they put the uniform on, they forget how to be human beings. I mean, to be fair, I think in order to become a cop, you have to forget how to be a human being. As soon as the cop outfit gets on, the power tripping goes crazy.
Not one time. So you guys are 4 out of hundreds I've
you
came
can
into
come do
contact
ride-alongs
And that's
with
fine.
me.
But what I'm saying is I'm coming to you. Oh, what are you on parole for? I'm on
yes.
parole for this and that and the
Your
third.
computer doesn't
Now,
tell
if
you
you're an
what, that's
asshole,
my response.
if
If
you're
your
an
computer
asshole,
doesn't tell you, you got to do your job.
And the dynamics changed because everybody's got body-worn video now, or dashboard video, and everything's recorded.
Yeah,
all
but
these
that's the reason
contacts.
you guys have them. That's exactly why you guys have body cams and dash cams.
For
Because even your own
transparency.
departments don't
it's
trust
for
you.
transparency. So if I do something, the public knows why I did something. That's what it's for. I grew up in the era of body cams, so I'm fine with it. I turn it on every single time. I've had people say, hey, this person is rude, this person this and that and the third, and they watch the body cam, did nothing that they said.
Bingo. And I'll
But
jump into that.
technology is policing you. So technology has little air. Human beings are policing us in the community of a community that you don't even know our values. You come from 30 miles away as a difference in the values. So I believe that it does need more exposure beyond the cameras that y'all
Well, I
hold.
think if you're going to say it needs more exposure, I think the good side also needs more exposure. I think policing in a whole needs more exposure.
I mean, I grew up with that in school, DARE programs and all these false hopes.
But that's not, the DARE
That's your
program has
exposure.
nothing to do with patrol and being out on the streets and working with people and families out on the streets. I see the good in policing, but I also see the bad in policing. So, like I said, if this one side needs more exposure, I think it all needs more exposure.
I grew up in the community. I'm not judging you, but yet you see me with a uniform, you automatically judge me. And I don't think that's fair.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. This guy is literally saying, Have you guys seen the people that say that like you're rich shaming me, or even like the anti-vaxxers that are like, you know, like, why am I getting judged for not wanting to wear a mask? Like, I just sneezed 20 times and like now all of the representatives are really mad because I'm not wearing a mask. And like, I just don't get it. It's like, this is literally just like how the Nazis treated the Jews in Germany. You are choosing to put on the uniform. You are choosing to be a cop. People are judging you for your choices, which everyone has the right to do that. The good is the bare minimum. We don't make videos about cashiers not being mean to customers. Exactly. Fucking exactly.
Well, because that comes from her experience. That's what she's trying to say. It's like as soon as the uniform is put on, the badge, it's like, and for most, because I'm in that work, and I see it, and it's like the ego comes in, or that power. And as human beings, we must feel like we're in control. It just seems to be an innate thing within all of us. Oftentimes, people with titles and roles allow the titles and roles to justify what they do. The good is there. The good is there. There's 4 of you right here. You have some conscience. That's what I'm hearing.
Committing a crime is never justified.
I swear to God, if anyone.
Does anybody agree with the prompt?
No.
Everything is a crime now.
Can the disagree step forward?
Thank God. Okay, Jesus, because I was going to lose it. Okay? Because I was going to have my fucking Les Mis moment where it's, all right. Thank you, PXL.
That prompt, it's a very open-ended question. I shared a part of my story earlier about the person, the officer, who was there to protect, serve, and he committed a crime against me. Was he justified? Because he's a police officer, a detective.
Max power to do the crime.
And so that's why I couldn't step forward, because I had to pause for a second. I have to take a neutral stance here because that's not our reality.
I was 14 years old and I was deciding to not go to school. And my stepdad came up and yanked a cover out from underneath me, and I hit the ground off of a bunk bed. And I got up cussing him, and he slapped me across my face, and I was the one that was taken to juvenile hall. But damn it, my crime was justified. You know, I think with anybody, with any crime that is committed,
What? I don't understand. The crime of what? What crime did you commit? That you cussed at him? Cursing is not a crime. It's called the First Amendment. That you stayed in bed? That's not a crime either. What? Hello? You know, I thought with this prompt, we were going to talk about like stealing, for example. Yeah, this is not going to school is a crime usually for the parents though, right? Yes. Generally speaking, truancy is something that parents have to deal with. I thought it was going to be like about stealing, like, hey, stealing is actually morally neutral. Stealing from a massive corporation is actually morally neutral. And if you need to feed your family, or you need clothes, or you need whatever, and you don't have the money for it, it is very justified to steal. Stealing food to be able to feed yourself, the most based crime. The most based. Not going to school isn't like... Also, how were you justified for wanting to engage in like truancy? Well, I don't understand.
there's a reason, there's a background, there's a story.
There you go.
there's circumstances that you have to find out. And us as police officers, that's our job, you know, and we'll take it from there.
So none of you as officers stepped forward and felt like it was unjustifiable the minute that you put your badge on to commit a crime?
No.
Not one of you?
I feel like
she
it's
just
justified.
asked for an instant.
Right. I feel like some things are justified for basic survival.
I'm just curious, if
deal
out
with,
of
like,
4 of you didn't have that one concept and you took an oath to protect and serve my community, his community, your community, her community, and not one of you stepped forward, I was going to step forward and challenge it. I hesitated and went back because I wanted to rethink it. Not one of you felt like when you put on that badge and that tool belt that there was no justifiable reason to commit a crime because it'd be self-defense, right?
Some things are justified. Like I just said, basic survival. I
Food,
deal with
yeah.
transients all the time, right? They go and steal something. My department requires me to do something when somebody steals something. Now,
All right, I have a
do I think it's right? No, but he's hungry. It's my job, so I have to do something or I'm gonna get fired. Can I pull out my card and pay
I've
for
done
it?
that.
No,
Yep.
I've done that.
But I can't. My department doesn't allow me to do that.
I have to rewatch that. There's no way. There's just no way. He didn't say that, right? He didn't say that, right, man? He didn't say that.
Survival. I
Food,
deal with
yeah.
transients all the time, right? They go and steal something. My department requires me to do something when somebody steals something. Now,
All right, I have a
do I think it's right? No, but he's hungry. It's my job, so I have to do something or I'm gonna get fired. Can I pull out my card and pay
I've
for
done
it?
that.
No,
Yep.
I've done that.
but I can't. My department doesn't allow me to do that, so I can't do that.
Oh, so what you're saying is all cops are bastards because you guys have to enforce fucking laws that are morally abhorrent. If the system is telling you you are not supposed to feed people, you're supposed to arrest people who are trying to feed themselves, that means it's a shitty system and you're being a fucking bastard about it. You don't get to say, well, it's not my fault. I signed up to be a policeman and I signed up to assault civilians and I signed up for all. I did sign up for it, but I didn't sign up for it. And like, yeah, I could have picked a million other types of jobs, but I didn't want those jobs. I wanted a gun. It's like, also, hey, by the way, you can just do things and not tell anyone. Just an idea, okay? Just an idea. Just an idea. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's almost like you can pretend like you didn't see something. And then be like, no, I
If my
swear I didn't
department
see
says
it.
that I can't show basic empathy, then I won't, but I'm still a good person because I'm Mr. Police 5 head.
Just do a bad job catching the guy stealing food? Yeah. If you were a good cop, like you say that you are, you would have been like, hey, come back here. Give him enough time to get like a head start. Be like, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to catch you. Oh, I'm so out of shape. Must be all the donuts I've been eating and coffee. Well, time to go take a break. Oh no, I dropped something. Oh, I tripped over this banana peel that just happened to be here. Oh, darn it. Jeez, I guess he got away with the food. Darn it. What can you do, I guess? I blinked and he gone. Shrug. Like, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. Oh my God, to self-report this hard.
They have to do something. They say, hey, I want him to go to jail. He's going to jail based on what that person said. With your situation, if she would have took the knife to the officer, that's justified to me.
Hey, motherfucker, can you just look up Nuremberg trials? Can you just look that up? You don't get to hide behind something a superior officer told you to do. Especially as a fucking cop when you can quit anytime you fucking want. Fuck off, bro. Literally fuck off, man.
Right? In my eyes.
Yeah.
No, Denim,
Now,
you
do
don't
we
understand. His department told him not to Google Nuremberg.
Being justified and dealing with the consequences are two different things.
I'm totally accountable. My years in prison made me 100% accountable for me in every action that I do and every thought that I make. So I've served federal and state prison. I have a parole until 2036 for narcotics. I've never hurt anybody. Nobody's ever overdosed from my drugs. I just got caught under the Reagan laws. I was raised in there. I've created my deepest friendships that I have in there. I've left women behind in there. The problem is that when I found myself in trouble since I've been home, the last number I would call is anything with a 11, 211, 411, or 911. My loss of faith and belief in the whole entire police community is gone. It ain't no 2% of you in my eyes. There ain't no 1%. Because you might be a hero one day, and then 16 years later, back against the corner, lose everything you stood for. And it happens, we're humans.
Just a prompt. Anything that you've done to get you where you were was never justified.
If you look at justifiable, no, I was greedy. I was taught to hustle.
But why did you start?
Because I was hungry.
You were justified, but you're still gonna get arrested. That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't justify it. I'm accountable. See, there's a difference. You can't.
That's not what I'm saying. I understand where you come from, but I'm still going to arrest you. I'm still going to do my job.
Because this is job.
Yeah, I'm still going to do it. So I understand your story. I hear you, but you're still going to jail. That's what I'm saying. Is it justified? I get it. You were hungry. You had to do what you had to do. You had to do what you had to do to survive. I get it. But you're still going to jail.
You're doing a job that the department told you to do.
Right.
You just said that. Would you want it to come out your pocket to probably feed the person that was stealing something because they're hungry? Because in your humanity, you know what it's like to be hungry.
Agreed.
But in your job, you know that if you don't do what you're told, and the procedures and stuff, that you're going to get in trouble. You probably lose that job, and that's not something you want to do because you also have to feed your family
Agreed.
and feed yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So I think we can all agree, some of you have good intentions, and you go in with that. But it's a department that has a culture of violence. You can't help but to pick up some of those traits. Number one, because you want your job. Number one. So I served 27 years in prison, in a maximum security prison for women. I had a sentence of 25 to life.
She's literally walking him through ACAB. Because he's too dumb to understand. Because he's fucking thumb-shaped.
For the crimes of kidnapping and murder. That's what I was convicted of. Did I do it? That's a different story. No person that represented a system helped me. Punishment has become the response to every damn thing in this country.
And hey, guess what? In countries where they don't have insane levels of recidivism, where they don't have insane levels of poverty, where they don't have insane levels of incarceration, people actually get better. Why? Because they don't just give cops guns and say, fix the problem. They say, what is the problem? People are hungry. Well, let's make sure people stop being hungry. What do we need to do? Housing? Okay. What housing policy do we need? How much money do we need to dump into this to make sure that the poorest people in society still get to sleep somewhere safe so they don't commit crimes? We don't want random people in the street getting robbed because other people can't eat. So let's give those people food. Let's give those people shelter. Let's give them water. Okay, what else is causing crimes? Oh, not having a job is causing crimes. Okay, let's try our best to solve the unemployment problem. Let's try our best to solve the homeless problem. Okay, so what about this? What about this? What about this? Okay, and then you solve all the problems that you can, try and prevent crimes from ever happening because people don't have their material conditions met, so they have to commit crimes. You prevent that from happening. And then, yeah, there are always going to be, despite that, there are always going to be people that commit crimes despite the fact that their material conditions are met. Like school shooters. More than half of the school shooters come from families that are middle or middle upper class or upper class. They have, they're cis, het, white men with a lot of privilege. They don't ever have to worry about, any of the problems that you have as a minority group. So they're living pretty well and they still commit crimes. There are always going to be people that commit crimes regardless of everything else. Because that's just how life is, you know? This is how life is. Like people who are kleptomaniacs, they want to steal even though they don't need to steal. And that we can solve. But even kleptomania, that's a mental disorder from my understanding. Which is solvable through like therapy and rehabilitation and like improving your mental around theft instead of just like this person is evil because they like to steal, throw them in jail. It's like every single thing ends up like there are like psychopaths and sociopaths. Like what's that one JCS video? The one with, it was a very famous case, Jody, I think. Where like there are going to be people who don't experience like human empathy. Like sociopathy is a thing that exists in human beings, that they just don't feel empathy to other people. The only thing that matters is their temporary current happiness. Oh, you know, like billionaires. And those people are always going to commit crimes because they don't really care about repercussions and they think they can get away with it and blah, 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 blah. But everybody else, I refuse to believe that there are millions of terrible people every year that deserve to be in jail. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. I refuse that we can't find those people the correct mental health facilities to help them, or the correct rehabilitation services to help them, or just food and housing and shelter and water. If you did that, you would solve the fucking incarceration problem. You would solve the prison problem in the US. Overnight.
We're out in the street living every day to survive. We're out in the street doing our own thing. When you guys as colleagues come after us, like at what point does it justify your colleagues to do all that stuff just because they have that badge? When y'all colleagues are shooting at us, how does that justify you guys' crimes? That's what I understood from her. I understood like when you guys are, totally that's what I got.
Because I was agreeing with what she's saying.
You're out in the streets and, you know, you guys come and do all this and that. Well, who's calling? Who's calling us to get to where you're at?
All right, let me give you a perfect example, right?
Okay.
Let's say I have a broken down car, you know?
Okay.
I have a broken down car and nobody called you. You just happen to see a broken down car. And I have my emergency lights on too, so I'm declaring that I'm having an emergency situation.
Okay.
You see me out and about, I'm on my phone, I'm in a safe area on this side, on the right side of my vehicle where I'm not in imminent danger. I'm following all my protocols. Let's say I even go as far as putting a road flare or a cone from like a traffic kit. I cover all my T's and A's, you know? I'm literally trying to avoid you because I don't like you. So I'm doing everything I gotta do, but here you go. Woo, 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 woo. Hey, what's up? Do you need help? And I'm like, no, sir, I don't need any help. I've called AAA, they're on their way. I verbally communicated with you that
Sorry, I'm still laughing at him saying, because I don't like you. Sorry.
I'm good. I'm in no imminent danger. I put my cones up. I'm waiting for AAA. I relayed to you, verbally communicated that I'm okay. I'm not bleeding. You're not seeing anything going on with me that would attract you to come after me. But here you are, grabbing at your belt, pulling at your thing, just seeking for something to go after. Immediately seeking, like you're like a predator, bro. You're literally hawking eye into your target and you're like, I'm gonna get him. Boom, and then here you go. You been drinking today? I'm like, bro, I just told you I don't need your help. Like I'm sitting here waiting for my AAA to come with a flat tire because I got a wheel lock. Okay. Oh, so, but have you been drinking today? Are you on probation or parole? Immediately it's like, dude, I'm in distress. I've advised you I don't need your help, put up all my flares, crossed all my T's, dotted all my I's, but you continue to push the subject.
Yeah.
This is so... I did that so many times it hurt my hand. He's so...
to walk.
This happened. I feel like a lot of things on the internet, it's like, yeah, I like walked in to like a party and then everyone was like, oh my God, Denims! Whoa, the party can finally start. And then they like picked me up and they were like, Denims, Denims, Denims. And then everybody clapped. It's like,
hell yeah.
I don't think that happened. I'm going to be honest. That did not happen. I can promise you that didn't happen. No, it happened. I was at the party. That is so fucking real. That this happened. Cops doing this shit where they just randomly decide to instigate for no reason, it happens. The number of times I've seen footage of cops where like it's a person and they're in their car. And they're just chilling. They're just chilling in their car. They pulled over because they wanted to check a text message or something because they're trying to be a responsible driver. And they're just like on their phone. And the cop is like, So we saw suspicious behavior from you. You braked at a stop sign and then you stopped, which was very suspicious. And we ran your plates, and it looks like your plates are actually registered with like a different car. And the person's like, yeah, this is a new car. I just got it. I'm still like getting everything set up. Did you consider that you aren't white, so we think you stole it? Get out of the car. It's like, but I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything. Oh, so you're resisting arrest now. Okay, take out the guns. It's like, I'm just existing in my car that I bought. And you're gonna arrest me for it? This is what you're gonna do? It's the realest shit in the world. It is literally the realest shit in the world. Don't shoot, this man isn't black. Literally. I've had cops do this to me so many times where they'll pull you over or come up with a reason afterwards. Chad, I've said it before. Okay, this is like unironic advice that I give to people. And low-key, I kind of think it's a cool, funny, and good gift to give to someone. A Blue Lives Matter hat that you put on as soon as the cop shows up. When you get pulled over, take it out of your glove compartment, put it on, and be like, "Hi, officer. How can I help you? Great to see you serving. What can I help you with?" Because they're dumb. They're dumb. They're literally dumb. Look at the child that was handcuffed and arrested for this exact same scenario. Both kids ended up being charged, but the passengers' charges were already dropped. Yep. Keep it on the seat, not on the glove compartment. Yeah, like it should be really close to you so you can put it on instantly while they're walking up to your vehicle. Plus 100 to armor. I'm serious. Get one of those bumper stickers. I'm 100% serious. It's sad that it would work. No, I think it would work. I think it would actually work. I used to have a blue/black bar sticker on my car after getting pulled over an excessive amount, and I haven't been pulled over since. Stop. So anyways, I like to give that hat to friends and be like, "Here, this is for like if a cop ever stops you, before they get to your car, put this on. I want to know that you're going to be okay, okay? I want to know that if I can help you a little, okay, I don't want to see it happen. All right? It's very well known that if you spend the extra $50 for like police memorial plates, you're pretty much good to go as long as you don't do something absolutely crazy while driving. Yup. The only reason I have veteran plates on my car is for cop protection. Fucking smart. Fucking super smart. I'm black. Can I get one of the hats? Bro, I need to like I need to open like a merch store just and like sell them at like the most bare minimum cost and make zero profit so that everyone in chat can get one. Cause I should get veteran plates. If you're a veteran chat, get veteran plates immediately. Seriously. It's crazy how that shit could literally save lives. Oh yeah. Never invite Denims to your birthday. Great idea, though. Reverse hat. Inside it says ACAB. Yes, that's so smart, actually. Embroider ACAB on the inside of the hat so they won't know, but we'll know. Yes. Yes. Oh, my God. So fucking genius. Also, get veteran status on your license or ID. Yeah. Listen, dude, fucking, if you're gonna deal with dumb cops, then fucking stoop to their level if it means your safety, okay? Anywho, we're gonna get back to the video. I have to pee so bad, but I want to finish this. We're only halfway through.
Have you ever
you go as far as like pulling your gun? Why are you getting hostile, sir?
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying.
Why are you getting hostile, sir? Click. You good?
Yeah, so
I feel like you're getting hostile, sir. Put your hands where I can see them. Click. Okay. There we go.
So I'm going to tell you what I always just say in the streets when I work
I mean,
patrol.
do we agree here?
This is what I was going to say. I'm going to tell you what I always say in patrol. You know, and this is what I said in my earlier comment where we get painted with this broad brush. First of all, I would have given you a ride. When you say you, I just want to make sure and be clear that me personally.
That's why I have AAA though. I don't need a ride.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. What I'm saying is that in my mind, you're speaking about me personally. I would have helped you no matter what.
But I don't need your help. I've advised you, verbally
Roger
told
that.
you.
That's
when
fine.
you were 10
and you
feet
know
away,
what?
and you kept
I
coming
would have went
towards
to
me.
I would have took off
When
and
you
went
were
to
like
Starbucks and
15
got a
feet
cup.
away.
I would have took off, went to Starbucks and got a cup. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that I'm going to tell you what I always used to say when I used to work in the streets. You know what?
Can he
I
stop?
can't speak. And
I'm gonna say something. Can he just stop saying the streets?
I can't feel what you feel.
So why did you?
Let me finish.
See what I
Let
mean?
me finish.
You guys are predators, bro. Exactly. Nobody called you. Who called you?
You're not letting me
So
finish.
who called you?
You're not letting me
But
finish.
that was my question. That was your question, right? Who called you?
Did I let you speak?
But nobody called you.
Can
I speak? Can I say something? Because I feel like
he doesn't understand. Can we get a little protocol here, the Q&A, where he talks and then I talk?
Oh, look, the cop going to authority instead of trying to de-escalate a situation. What a shocker. Truly a disbelief. I am in complete disbelief. Oh, you mean to tell me that the cop will give up dealing with a pedestrian or a civilian and will just decide to try and get someone else to deal with the problem? Whoa. Whoa, that's so weird. If he had a gun right now, he would have reached for it.
Because he's not letting me talk.
Okay, you can respond, and then
Okay.
I want to hear from Scott, and then you have to go to the next one.
Can you just please let me finish? Okay.
I mean, I'm answering the valid points validly, you know. Just saying.
You're not letting me. You know what? Disregard.
It's good. We don't gotta agree, but you know, I gotta say like
what I'm trying to.
But you gotta have more patience as a police officer.
Well, no,
you just got a quick snap, and I can see.
Dang! Oh my God, she cooked him. She actually cooked him. She cooked him. She literally cooked him. She roasted him. She was like, look, you don't have the patience to be a cop. Look at how quickly you gave up.
you always gotta be right. Like
I'm
you
just
don't
used to
always gotta be
argue. When
right.
I argue, I always let the person speak as much as you can.
I think he just
and
wanted
then once
the crime that was committed, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a cop. I saw the cops. I grew up in the 90s, so they would give baseball cards, and I thought the cops were the coolest things because I had a real bad childhood, like with my parents, and I didn't really have friends like that. But the cops would be there. But the second I got my lowrider bike, like the cops would pull me over and give me tickets, and I'd be like, why don't you stop them over there? It's like, well, we're stopping you. How are we gonna stop them? And then I would get tickets constantly. I was just a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I liked the lowrider culture, and they would give me tickets all the time. Then my parents would be like, why are you getting tickets? Like, I don't know. They just keep stopping me. And then like maybe I'll ditch school, and the cops will like, you know, like sometimes they'll get me from a certain neighborhood and drop me off in like far away from my house, like, or sometimes, and I was a minor, and they'll get me from the streets and take me to the police station, which I found out later was illegal there. And they made me to who I am. And they made me think that I was a bad guy until like I realized almost like 13 years ago, I don't gotta be that bad guy no more, but the cops made me who I was.
And I'll share, like, I've never served any time like that. I was arrested as a 13-year-old, you know, literally I still looked like I was 10. I was smoking weed at the park, and I got immediately apprehended, taken into custody. I got handcuffed behind my back. And then I got placed in a cop car with no divider. It was like a park cop, you know. So no divider. And then when he started asking me about my name and stuff, so I was like the adolescent phases. I didn't want to answer him. I didn't have to.
Why not though?
He's a minor.
Because I'm a minor. You don't have to interrogate me without my parents.
You don't have the right to talk to them.
That's incorrect. You committed a crime.
See? But
He doesn't know the law. These are our cops, by the way. You also, by the way, don't have to talk to the cops, period, by the way. Even if you aren't a minor, you have the right to remain silent. Generally speaking, if a cop does interact with you, just give them your ID. Just show them what you want to show them. Be cordial for your own safety. But you have the right to remain silent. They don't have the right to interrogate you and be like, what's your name? Where are you from? What is this? What is this? What is this? You have to give them your ID and then zip it. You only have to give them your ID, I think, if you're in a car. I don't know if the different states have different laws, but at the very least, I know in California, you only have to give a cop your ID if you're in a car and you're like speeding or something like that. A cop isn't allowed to just walk up to you while you're walking down the street and just ask for your ID. They're not allowed to. They have to have a reason for why they're doing it. Like, you have to be getting detained. I think some states do have stop and ID laws, but in the US, in California, I'm pretty sure, or at the very least in Los Angeles, the cops do not have the right to demand your ID from you. Obviously, you should always just do it because you never know when the cop is going to be crazy or not, and you should just behave for your own safety. But the fact that this literal cop doesn't know that he can't be interrogating minors is insane. Absolutely insane.
I mean, you know.
But I don't think you're well.
All right,
I don't think you're well versed.
One second.
Gotcha.
So without the barrier, and he kept asking me questions, and I just simply didn't want to answer him. I didn't have to at that point, you know. So he got upset that I didn't, you know, volunteer with whatever his demands were, and he just punched me in the chest as a handcuffed 13-year-old kid, knocked the wind out of me, whatever, you know. It went as far as violating my rights. I never even knew that I could have told his commanding officers or even the watch commander once I got to the jail, yo, this guy like sucker punched me in the chest, like he knocked the wind out of me, he abused me, he abused a minor. I didn't know any of that. Now that I'm an adult, because I'm a felon, because of course that, you know, escalated into more things like gay marijuana, and marijuana was hella illegal back then. I'll be damned if you guys mess with me like all over
Which
again.
is insane, by the way, that this guy is a felon for being a stoner. Sorry. Being a stoner as a not white rich kid. Because white rich kids, they get away with being stoners all the time. You could have any illegal drug on you as a white rich kid, and your fucking parents are going to save your fucking ass. And they're going to walk up to the police station and be like, you are violating his rights. We're getting a lawyer. We're going to sue the shit out of your police department if you do not release him right now. We have evidence and we have proof that you did this, you did this, you did this. This is going to be a nightmare. Get him the fuck out of the prison right now, or get him the fuck out of like his being detained right now. And they're like, okay, sorry. Well, here you go. But you have to come from a place of privilege for that to be like, for that to happen to you. When you're not coming from a place of privilege, you're never going to get that experience. Barbers require more training than cops. Don't tell me that.
And that has happened to me.
I get it.
That's why I got road flares in my car. That's why I keep like a kid. You know?
I get it.
I cross all my T's and dot all my I's, dude.
Criminals who commit violent felonies don't deserve certain legal rights.
You know what? I'm sorry, I can't do this. I can't do this episode no more. It's not making any sense. The questions just don't make sense to me.
Sorry.
I can't really get my point across how I want to. And the questions are kind of like reversed. Like it's like you're asking the question, but you kind of. I can't do it.
I totally understand.
I can't do it.
You can always share whether you agree or disagree.
Well, everybody's talking over each other. I can't be on camera doing that.
I totally understand.
I'm trying to get my point across at the police. You know what I mean? But I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I can't do that. Get my point across. There's no point of me being here.
So
I'm out of here.
Can we take a smoke break then? I can? Oh, yes.
I fear the others.
Dude, he got the questions to be changed, dude. He got it. He fucking got he got the questions changed. Fucking, did you notice how he did that without threatening, without asking about authority? He went up there, he said how he wanted to. It's almost like because the police, they have that authority. They know what that authority is like. They feel like they need to use that authority. And everybody else is like, I'm just a person. Everybody else is just a person. I'm just going to talk to everyone else like they're just people.
Side. Step forward if you agree.
You know, I think
Dude,
it's part of their job.
Jubilee is just a Praga use.
True. I am probably the last person that the cops will discriminate against. Mostly because I'm pretty like white presenting, or like I'm exotic looking. I sound pretty white, and I'm a woman, and I have like no tattoos. I'm very non-threatening to cops. To like the average cop, I am a non-threatening person. And I've never had a bad interaction with a cop, mostly because of that. And I admit that I have privilege there. I admit that I have, like, at the way that I look and the way that I speak, I have privilege there. But I am still afraid that one day I'm going to run into a power-hungry cop that's going to try and assault me, that's going to try and sexually assault me. And I haven't had a bad experience with a cop, mostly because I just haven't had that many experiences with a cop. But, like, because I know what sexual assault is like, not what sexual assault is. Well, I do know what sexual assault is like, unfortunately. But because I know how bad the rates are and how terrible the jurisdiction is for cops sexually assaulting women, I just don't trust them. I don't trust them, and I would never trust them. And I would make it very clear, if I ever got into an interaction with a cop where they were trying to arrest me, I would make it very clear that, like, I am getting a lawyer, and everything that is happening now, I am documenting it. It's kind of like it's a fear tactic so that the cop behaves. It's the same thing that, like, women do when they're not sure if they're going out on a date with a guy who's going to, like, kill them. It's like you hit them with the, oh yeah, 1 second, I'm just going to airdrop my location to my friend. So that they second guess, like, because, like, 99% of your dates are going to be normal people, but that 1% that's going to hear you say that you're airdropping your location, or airdropping your location, you can tell I don't know anything about Apple. They will be like, okay, this isn't worth the trouble. That's not worth the trouble.
It's us to harassing us. At what point did you go from serving and protecting us to making us inferior to you guys? At what point do we go from the people to, man, we're scared of you guys?
And I hear you, honestly. I hear you. I hear everything you're saying. And,
I honestly have a better chance policing myself than I having call you guys.
Well, honestly. I'm sorry you went through what you did, okay? I will apologize for us as a whole, but you can't judge all of us.
It's not just you guys, it's a whole history since you guys started. Like, in 1777, when this country was built, there was no police.
I have trouble, especially being a black cop, is I have been through what you've gone through, yet when I try to be a better person, every time I talk to somebody with trauma like what you're saying, you judge me based off this, but then expect me not to do the reverse to you, and I don't understand where that disconnect is.
Well, the disconnect.
If I were to treat you like, oh, this is a Mexican on the street, right?
All the time.
I don't know you, so I've never done that. So don't say I've done that, right? But if I were to treat you like that, it would be an issue. Why do you feel okay to do that? Hey, this is a cop. He's going to do the exact same shit that everybody else did it before. That's not fair to do.
It's not, but it's not fair to come after me when I'm just driving my car.
I don't know you.
The Constitution says that I have the right to enjoy my roads that I pay for with my tax.
It says that you have the right to travel. It doesn't say
we travel freely. Travel freely, that's the key word. Travel freely.
Right, so you can walk wherever you want to go, but you can't drive. That's under the California Constitution. But that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying, I would never.
Pay attention, guys. I want you guys to pay attention, right? I want you guys to pay attention because this is a big problem right here. And he claims that he's not a problem and he's in the middle. But let me point it out to you guys right here where the big flaw is. Every time that I've invoked my rights, this individual has chose to go around and still violate my rights. You guys notice that?
Okay.
The same persona, the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not.
Damn. Wait, but, like, he's right though. But he's right.
Can we move on to the last prompt because it feels like
let's
it's
go
not
to the
going
next
anywhere.
prompt.
Yeah, locking people up doesn't solve anything.
I agree. Yeah.
Finally, middle ground. Punishment is the response to everything. By punishment, I mean throwing somebody into a system that does not address anything, any of the issues that the person might have had, the communities have, people with substance issues, mental health issues, poverty issues. Let's be clear, poverty is a crime, right? But people are getting locked up for it because they're trying to manage and eat and survive and just do, you know. And so we're not addressing anything that causes these ills. Okay, let's lock them up and throw away the key. That's the mindset. At least that's how we feel because we lived it and we continue to live it.
Yeah, I think we've gotten better.
And I feel like that's where now we're getting this middle ground and this understanding that it is not the way to do things. It is not the solution.
Right. I feel like we're getting the blame for it when it's a system as a whole. You know, we don't have anything to do with what happens.
But you're part of it.
And well, we are part of it, absolutely.
You're the root of it.
We absolutely agree on that.
You see, that's the thing that you guys say, oh, we're not responsible, but then you say that, oh, we're not like this, but I mean,
but no, we're
like,
responsible.
No one's taking accountability. That's one thing. I mean, you guys say sorry, you're apologizing for them, but where are they? Like, you know, it's like we never see them.
You're the stage before intake. So you're the level before I go in. So when I'm put in handcuffs and going in, my last real human contact is with the person who put the handcuffs on me. And not once has anyone ever just had a compassionate, like, hey, I hope to see you make it out of here healthy, or, hey, you know what, I'm
Recidivism has been 70% for God knows how long.
Like 80-something.
I'd say probably 80 now. In certain zip codes, in certain locations, it's probably even the 90 or 95%. So from a societal, point of view, absolutely. I think that, locking people up is not the key. As a matter of fact, all the prisons that they made in the state of California has been overpopulated for decades.
There's money in recidivism. There's not money in reformation, and that's the problem, is that you are trapped in a system, and so am I, where it's all about a dollar amount on me. And that's just what it is.
Like, when I got locked up, like, I went in for weed. And when I got out, like, in 2 weeks, I came out, like, knowing how to steal a car. I made more connections with more criminals. I learned how to make a shank. I learned how to hide stuff. Like, I became more criminal going to prison, going to jail. All these, like, you just are surrounded by other people that are doing even crazier stuff than just having weed. So it's like...
Yep. Yeah, and every time you go in, that becomes more and more of what you know. That's why I say, no matter what, I don't give a fuck what crime you committed. We should have a system where if you go to prison, you have a safe environment, a clean bed, good food, a private bathroom so you can have your own fucking dignity, that you don't become someone else, that you don't lose yourself in that system. The fact that our prison system, that it is 2023 and you can get locked up and you have to pee in a toilet publicly in front of everyone else, and that you have to share a bed that's like made out of like fucking paper mache, and that you eat literal gruel that, like, we have seen video footage of the food that prisoners eat, and sometimes it's straight up molding. The food we're serving them is molding. And then we put them in a room with literal bars, and you're going to tell me that's not going to change a person? That's not going to change a person.